See, in this society, we are exposed to so much information. Radio, television, newspapers, magazines, books tell us all sorts of attractions about things that other people are doing, and we're always wishing we were in somebody else's shoes. Because we know so much, and we're informed so much. But in this kind of culture, everybody is settled for the fact that one day is just like another, and that they do what has to be done, what is in the course of things. Now, you know that little children today always are interested in what their parents are doing and want to join in, but are not allowed to do so because they can't go to the office with their father, and the mother is always in a hurry because instead of having spent most of the day preparing dinner in the kitchen, she's been out to the Coffee Clutch, the League of Women Voters, and then she's in a hurry, and she doesn't want some little girl buzzing around having to teach her how to boil an egg or how to bake a cookie. But little girl is very, very eager indeed to find out how to do what mama does. But she mustn't, because she might make a mess. So instead of that, little girl is given a toy cooking stove and a toy baby to look after. The child is annoyed that the cooking stove doesn't really work, that the toy baby doesn't wee-wee properly, and the little boy is even more annoyed that the toy gun doesn't kill anything. So every day by about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, just before the father of the family returns, the entire house is littered with broken plastic and smashed toys that have been torn apart in fury. So there develops a knock-down, drag-out battle between the mother and the children to throw all that stuff into a bottom of a closet before Daddy comes home. So this awful trauma occurs in which the children are addled and have to be gassed with television. And the mother is in no fit mood to be the loving cook of a superb dinner. So she gets some frozen up stuff that can be thrown together in a hurry, fixes Papa a couple of martinis so he won't know what he's eating anyway.
We condition the child in a way that sets the child a life problem which is insoluble.
I think we've got to realize that children are benefited by being exposed to a considerable number of adults. In a very ancient form of agrarian culture, as in India or as in Japan or China, a young man who was son of a carpenter would become fascinated with his father's occupation. And that would mean a very special relationship would grow up between him and his father, which does not grow up in our culture. Because most of us do not know what our fathers are doing. They go away to a mysterious office or factory where they do something called making money as the main reason for the incidental occupation which they pursue there. But the children and the wife have no active part in that occupation whatsoever. They know Papa only as a kind of clown who returns home in the evening having made money, and one dad's money is the same as another dad's money. It makes no difference, except that everybody wants more. They don't give a damn how he gets it, so long as he doesn't complain too much. So the child, instead of learning and participating in his close father relationship, in learning an occupation or a trade or an art, is sent off to an impersonalized institution to be taught to be everything and nothing, and therefore doesn't learn early enough any craft so as to become a true master of it. What is happening, for example, in Japan, where a father can no longer apprentice his son at 7 years old to become a carpenter because he has to send him away to school to learn to be an insurance salesman. He can't teach his child, and then comes high school. And then when the kid gets out of high school, he's interested in girls. And it takes him until he's about 22 to be able to settle down to learn carpentry. And it's too late. Too late to attain real mastery. Because a great Japanese carpenter never uses a plan. He doesn't need a drawing. Does it all by eye, and can fit the most complicated joinery together by eye. Any kind of gorgeous craftsmanship depends on beginning as a child. We can't buy it anymore in this country. There is not, on any kind of commercial basis, great craftsmanship available here. We have to go abroad to get it, to so-called primitive societies. We must be content with plastic simulation. In our society, one works not as a vocation. In this scheme of things, every vocation that you perform is called svadharma. And this word, the word dharma, has many meanings. Dharma. It means function. It means the thing that is right for you. Here, sva is the same as the Latin suus, and so it is one's own, your own function, what we would call your vocation in life, svadharma. Now, a job which you do purely for money can never be called a svadharma, because you're doing it for another end, to make money, which has a purely symbolic value. But when you do a certain work, because that is what is your thing to do, you want to be a doctor because you're fascinated with medicine and all its problems. And you like people so much that you want to heal them from their diseases. Or you might be fascinated with problems of law and so become a lawyer. Then you've got a vocation, because you would do that thing, whether it paid you very much or whether it didn't, because that's the one thing you have to do. If you're a painter, you have to paint. If you're a writer, you're one of those crazy people who just has to write. I'm a writer. I have to write. Whether it makes me money or whether it doesn't, I would still have to be a writer. So that's a svadharma. And every person's vocation in caste is supposed to be your thing, your svadharma. But we feel in our culture, you see, that we have such a tremendous choice of svadharma, that sometimes it's what the French call embarras de richesse. It's like embarrassment of riches when you're confronted with one of those enormous menus in a restaurant which has so many things on it you can't make up your mind which to pick. Well, now then, you see, as a person passes out of this, he gives up the social order and becomes a nobody. He then, in that sense, he goes back to the forest. He goes back from the organization, the role-playing of the agrarian culture, with the solitude of the hunting culture, to find out who he is alone all by himself. And in later life, as distinct from infancy, with all that experience behind you, find out again who you really are, so that when death comes, what a funny thing will happen. Death comes and will find no one to kill. But while you are identified with your role, with your name, with your ego, there's someone to kill. But when you're identified with the whole universe, death finds you already annihilated. And there's no one to kill.